Welcome to my channel today. This is King Shiso. It's the first time joining us, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for your support so far. Okay, please ensure you like, comment, and ensure you subscribe to my channel. Okay, today we want to continue our series on demand. Okay, today we want to look at elasticity of demand. Now, if you have not seen the introduction video on demand, please ensure you watch those videos before this. I'll drop that in my description below. I'll drop it up here. We've seen the different aspect of demand introduction. I've also seen the shift in demand and the change in demand. So today we want to see on the elasticity of demand. Now, what is elasticity? Now, elasticity of demand refers to the degree of responsiveness of demand to little changes in the price of the commodity. Okay, it wants to look at how consumers react to the price change in the market in terms of their purchase of a commodity. Okay, so it is the degree or the ratio of the responsiveness of demand to what changes in the prices of a commodity. That is what is known as elasticity. Okay, now basically we have three types of elasticity. Now, the first one is called the price elasticity of demand. The second one is called the income elasticity of demand, while the third one is called the cross price elasticity of demand, or the cross elasticity of demand. So these are basically the three aspects of elasticity of demand. Okay, now let's say the first one, the price elasticity of demand. And what's the price elasticity of demand? It is also known as the coefficient of price elasticity of demand. Okay, it means the degree of responsiveness of demand to the change in the price of a commodity. Okay, it tends to look at how consumers react when there's change in price. That is, this change now is coming from the price. That is why it's called price elasticity. If there's a change in price, how do consumers react to their purchase? Okay, so the price elasticity of demand can be divided into different items, in which we'll see. The first one is called the elastic demand. Now, the first type of the price elasticity of demand is called elastic demand. Now, what is elastic demand? And demand is said to be elastic when a small change in price leads to a greater change in the quantity demanded. That's when there's a slight change, a small change in price, it leads to a greater change in the quantity of goods demanded. Okay, now graphically, this can be represented as thus. For instance, if we have an item okay, and this is P1, and this is P2, okay, and this is Q1, and this is Q2, okay. So if you look at this point, you'll see a slight change in price, just a small change, but at least a greater change. Look at the space within them; it's wider. Okay, this is a greater change in the quantity demanded. Okay, so that is elastic demand. So mathematically, elasticity is said to be elastic when your E is greater than 1. When elasticity is greater than 1, most time in some question after solving, they'll tend to ask you what type of elasticity is this. So if your answer is greater than 1, it means it is elastic. Okay, so when E is greater than 1, it means it is elastic. So that's the first type. Now the second one is inelastic demand. Inelastic demand. Now demand is said to be inelastic when a great change in demand leads to a slight change. A great change in price leads to a slight change in the quantity demanded. Okay, so when there is a great change in price, it leads to slight or minimal change in the quantity of goods demanded. Okay, now when this happens, we said elasticity is less than 1. Okay, for instance, if we have this graphically, and now this is P1, this is P2, now this is Q1, and this is Q2. Now if you check here, you see the difference between the price is large, but the quantity purchased, the difference between the quantity is what? Minimum. So a greater change in price leads to what? A slight change in quantity demanded. When that happens, we said is what? Inelastic what? Demand. We said the demand is what? Inelastic. So when it happens, we said elasticity is less than 1. So when elasticity is less than 1, it is what? Inelastic. Okay? Now the third type of the price elasticity, remember we're still talking about the first one, which is the price elasticity. These are the types of price elasticity. Now the third one is what we call unitary. Unitary or unity demand. Unitary or unity demand. And what does it say? The unitary or unity demand states that a change in price leads to an equal change in the quantity demanded. It means the same change, the same rate of change in price leads to also the same rate of change in quantity demanded. So when this happens, we said elasticity is equal to 1. It is what's unitary. Okay? So we can represent it in a graph like this. So when this is this, we also have this. So if this is P1, this is P2, and this is Q1, and this is Q2, means the equal change in price leads to also an equal change in quantity demanded. So when elasticity is equal to 1, we said it is unitary or unity. Okay? So we also have another one. The first one, perfectly elastic demand. Perfectly elastic demand. Now, demand is said to be perfectly elastic when a change in price leads to an infinite effect. It has an infinite effect on the what? The change in quantity what? Demanded. Okay? Now, in such situation, a slight increase in price may tend to make the consumers to stop purchase of that item. And also, a slight decrease in price may make the people purchase all the item. So what is perfectly elastic? It means that a change in price has an infinite effect on the quantity of what item demanded. Okay, the change in price, a slight change in price, has an infinite effect. Okay, so when this happens, we said the demand is said to be perfectly elastic. So graphically, we can do this. So this becomes our price, and this becomes our quantity. Okay, so that's a perfectly elastic demand. Now the fifth one is perfectly inelastic demand. Perfectly inelastic demand. Now demand is said to be perfectly inelastic. Yeah, this is infinity. Demand is said to be perfectly inelastic when a change in price has no effect whatsoever on the demand. Okay? When a great change in price has no effect on the demand, we said it is perfectly inelastic. So the graph can also be represented as this. Okay? So where this is our price and this is a quantity. Okay, so that is perfectly inelastic demand. So these are the basic types of elastic price elasticity of demand: elastic, the inelastic, the unitary, the perfectly, and the perfectly elastic. So please ensure you get acquainted with the elastic, inelastic, and the unitary, especially their denotation. When elasticity is greater than 1, we say it is elastic. When it is less than 1, we say it is inelastic. And when it equates 1, we say it is unitary. Okay? So basically, we are going to see an example. We are going to see the measurement of elasticity, measurement of price elasticity of demand ranging from its formula. Now, how do we measure price elasticity of demand? Okay, given its formula. Now, if we have mathematically, the elasticity of demand can be given as what we call a percentage change in quantity demanded over percentage change in price. Okay, it is given in figure like percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in price. Okay, so percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in price. So that is how to measure elasticity in terms of price elasticity of demand. Percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in what? Price. So the percentage change in example is triangle means change. So we are going to get the individual of this. Now the percentage change in quantity demanded is equal to what we call the new quantity minus the old quantity divided by the old quantity times 100 over 1. Then percentage change in price is equal to the new price minus the old price divided by the old price times 100 over 1. So this is basically the formula we are going to use. Okay? So this is basically the formula. Percentage change in quantity demanded is the new quantity minus old divided by old times 100 over 1. Percentage change in price is the new price minus old price divided by old price times 100 over 1. So you're going to be given the new quantity and new price, old quantity and old price. So we use it to find the word elasticity when that arrives. So when we have this percentage change in quantity demanded, we substitute it here. We have percentage change in price, we substitute it here. Okay? So when we divide this by this, so the answer we get becomes our elasticity. So we can either determine if it is what? Elastic, inelastic, or unitary. Now let's see an example to solve this using this formula so we can progress. We said it is what? Perfectly inelastic. So the graph can also be represented as this. Okay, so where this is our price and this is a quantity. Okay, so that is perfectly inelastic demand. So these are the basic types of elastic price elasticity of demand. Elastic, the inelastic, the unitary, the perfectly, and the perfectly elastic. So please ensure you get acquainted with the elastic, inelastic, and the unitary, especially their denotation. When elasticity is greater than 1, we'll say it is elastic. When it is less than 1, we'll say it is inelastic. And when it equates 1, we'll say it is what? Unitary. Okay? So basically, we are going to see an example. We are going to see the measurement of elasticity, measurement of price elasticity of demand, ranging from its formula. Now, how do we measure price elasticity of demand? Okay, given its formula. Now, if we have mathematically, the elasticity of demand can be given as what we call a percentage change in quantity demanded over percentage change in price. Okay, it is given in figure like percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in price. Okay, so percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in price. So that is how to measure elasticity in terms of price elasticity of demand. Percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in what? Price. So the percentage change in economics, the triangle means change. So we are going to get the individual of this. Now the percentage change in quantity demanded is equal to what we call the new quantity minus the old quantity divided by the old quantity times 100/1. Then percentage change in price is equal to the new price minus the old price divided by the old price times 100/1. So this is basically the formula we are going to use. Okay? So this is basically the formula. Percentage change in quantity demanded is the new quantity minus old divided by old times 100/1. Percentage change in price is the new price minus old price divided by old price times 100/1. So you're going to be given the new quantity and the new price, old quantity and old price. So we use it to find the elasticity when that arrives. So when we have this percentage change in quantity demanded, we substitute it here. We have percentage change in price, we substitute it here. Okay, so when we divide this by this, so the answer we get becomes our elasticity. So we can either determine if it is what? Elastic, inelastic, or unitary. Now let's see an example to solve this using this formula so we can progress. Let's see this question. Now it said the price of commodity A in January is 5 naira. The price of commodity A in February is 7 naira. And the quantity of commodity A in January is 20 kg. And the quantity of commodity A in February is 16 kg. A, calculate I, percentage change in quantity bought. II, percentage change in price of A. III, coefficient of price, elasticity of demand. B, from your answer, is the demand elastic or inelastic? II, how do you know this? Now we're going to use this formula to solve this. This is the coefficient of price, elasticity of demand. So if we have a solution, now the first one is percentage change in quantity bought or quantity demanded. Now if you recall our formula as percentage change in quantity demanded equals a new quantity minus the old quantity over the old quantity times 100/1. So whenever you're given something like this, now you are going to detect which is new and which is old. The new is the current. Most times it might be represented with months, days, okay? So now they said January and February. Now what you ask yourself, which is more current? February is more current. It means February is new and January is what? Old, okay? So we're going to check for the quantity now. So now look at the February new and quantity, January is old. So for our quantity, it will now be 16 minus, that's the new, minus the old is what? 20, divided by our old is what? 20 times 100/1. Now watch. Because the new in terms of quantity is less than the what? The old. So what do? In order to avoid the negative, you switch it for terms of what? Quantity. You switch it to avoid negative because we cannot have a negative quantity. Okay? So because the new is less than the old, so we switch it. So instead of having 16 minus 20, we'll have 20 minus what? 16. Okay? But the old still remains there. So we'll have equal to 20 minus 16 is 4/20 times 100. So 20 here, 120 in 100 is 5. 5 times 4. So this will give us 20%. So the percentage change in quantity demanded is what? 20%. Okay? So we'll do the same also for the price. Percentage change in price. That's the other question. So it is new price minus the old price divided by the old price times 100/1. So what's the new price here? Now you're going to check the new price. We said the one that is recent, that's February, 7. 7 minus the old price is what? January, that's 5. 5 divided by old is 5 times 100/1. So 7 minus 5 gives us 2 over 5 times 100 over 1. So 5 here, 1, 5 in 100 will give us 20. 20 times 2 is 40%. So that is 40%, percentage change in price. Now the last one, III, the coefficient of price elasticity of demand, which is this formula. Okay, so it is now elasticity of demand equals percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in what? Price. Now we have solved for percentage change in quantity demanded, which is what? 20%. That's 20%. Divided by percentage change in price, which is 40%. That's 40%. Now if we divide this, we can have 1 over 2, or what we call 0.5. Okay? So that is the coefficient of price elasticity of demand. So if we were asked from your answer, is the demand elastic or inelastic? Now this is our answer. Is the demand elastic or inelastic? Now the demand is what? Inelastic. Why? Because elasticity is what? Less than 1. Remember when we were talking about the types of price elasticity of demand, the elastic, the inelastic. We said when elasticity is greater than elasticity now, this the coefficient. We said if it is greater than 1, it is elastic. If it is less than 1, it is inelastic. And if it is equal to 1, it is unitary. So now the final answer is 0.5. It means it is what? Inelastic. Okay? Because it is less than what? 1. So demand is what? Inelastic. Now how do you know this? Because it is less than 1. So with that you answer your question. So that's how to solve the price elasticity of demand, the measurement of the coefficient of price elasticity of demand. Okay? So that's the first one. Now let's see the second one, the income elasticity of demand. Now what's the income elasticity of demand? Now the income elasticity of demand is the degree of responsiveness of demand to changes in the income of the consumer. The degree of responsiveness of demand to changes in the income of the consumer. Now, it tends to look at how consumers react to their purchase of an item when there's a change in their income. Okay? When there's a change in their income. How do they react to this? Okay? So that is what income elasticity of demand. The degree of responsiveness of demand to the change in the income of the consumer. Okay? So basically we have two types of income elasticity of demand. The first one is called the positive income elasticity of demand, while the second one is called the negative income elasticity. Positive income elasticity and the negative income elasticity. Now, what's the positive income elasticity? Now, it tends to look at how a change in the income of the consumer may lead to a positive reaction in terms of its purchase. That is, if there's an increase in the income of the consumer, if they will increase their purchase of an item. Okay? There's a change in the income of the consumer that will favor a change in the quantity purchased. Okay? Now, these positive income are mostly items or normal goods. When a change in income of consumer leads to an increase in the purchase of an item, it's positive. Okay? So an example of this is the purchase of what? A normal goods. Okay? While a negative income elasticity of demand refers to when there is an increase in the income of the consumer, it leads to a decrease in the quantity of that item purchased. As when consumer income increases, they tend to reduce their purchase of a particular item. So this type of goods in this is inferior. For instance, if before a consumer's level, before it increases, they might be purchasing a particular item. Or once their income highs to a particular level, they feel that they are not among that status quo. Okay? So it leads to a negative income elasticity of that commodity. So that is the two types of income, the positive and the negative. Now let's see the measurement of income elasticity, the same way we did for the price. Okay? Now the measurement of income elasticity can also be given as EY, the coefficient of income elasticity of demand. So it's also given as percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in income. In economics, Y represents income. Okay? So this stands for percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in income. So if you split it, percentage change in quantity demanded is given as new quantity minus old quantity over old quantity times 100 over 1. While percentage change in income is given as new income minus old income divided by old income times 100 over 1. So when you solve and you have an answer for this, you put it there. You solve, you have an answer over this, you put it there, and you find your final answer. Okay? So that is how to solve for this. Now let's see an example on how to solve this, and we'll progress. Okay, now let's solve the question relating to income elasticity. It said a weekly income of a clerk has increased from 100 naira to 125. It has increased from this to this. As a result of his promotion in the office, he's able to purchase 300 loaves of bread instead of 200 per week. 1. Calculate the coefficient of his income elasticity of demand. 2. Is the demand elastic or inelastic, and why? And 3. What kind of good is bread to the consumer? So we are going to solve using this formula. Okay? So if we have solution, and they say we should calculate the coefficient of his income elasticity. Now the first thing we have to do, recall the formula. Income elasticity is equals to percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in what? Income. So percentage change in quantity demanded is the new quantity minus the old quantity over old times 100 over 1. Now how do we identify new and old? Now watch. They said the weekly income of a clerk has increased from this to this. So this is the current income. The new and this is old. Now, as a result of his promotion in the office, he is able to purchase 300 of bread instead of 200. So this is 300 as a new instead of, this was the previous. So this is the new quantity and this is the old. So the new quantity is 300 minus the old is what? 200 divided by the old is 200 times 100 over 1. So 300 minus 200 is 100 over 200 times 100 over 1. So if we do that, now 100 here 1, 100 in 200 will give us 2. 2 here 1, 2 in 100 is 50%. So this will give us 50%. Okay? So the next one, that's percentage change in quantity demanded. So the next one is percentage change in income, which is the new income minus the old income divided by the old income times 100 over 1. So what's the new income? We said is this. It increased from this to this. So the new one is 125 minus old one is what? 100 divided by old 100 times 100 over 1. So 125 minus 100 will give us 25 over 100 times 100 over 1. So if this cancels this, it is equal to 25%. So therefore, our percentage, our elasticity, income elasticity is equal to percentage change in quantity demanded. What is it? 50%. So we have 50% divided by percentage change in income. What is it? 25%. So 50 divided by 25 will give us 2. So that's our income elasticity. Now, is the demand elastic or inelastic, and why? Now the demand is what? Elastic. It's elastic because it is greater than what? 1. That's the answer. It is elastic because it's greater than 1. Okay? So we said when elasticity is greater than 1, it is elastic. Now, what kind of good is bread to the consumer? Now, we saw 2 types of income elasticity, the positive and the negative. Now, the type of good that bread is to the consumer is the normal goods. And what's the normal goods? Is that goods in which where there's an increase in its purchase when there's an increase in income. Watch. The income of the man increased from 100 to 25. He increased his what? purchase for bread from 200 to what? 300. So that is what positive income elasticity. We said is what? Normal. So that is that. Now let's see the last part, which is the cross price elasticity, or what we call the cross elasticity of what? Demand. Okay, let's see the third part, which is the cross elasticity of demand, which is the third aspect of the elasticity. Okay, now the cross elasticity of demand tends to look at the degree of responsiveness of a change in quantity demanded of a commodity as a result of change in the price of another commodity. Okay, it tends to look at how a change in price of one commodity can lead to a change in the quantity demanded of another. Okay, now this tends to look at the relationship between close substitute, competitive demand. I mentioned this, I made illustration about this when I was talking about the types of demand. When we talk of competitive demand, that's what, in terms of close substitute, a change in the price of one can lead to a change in the quantity of what? Another. And I gave that illustration. Please watch the previous video. Okay? Now, that is cross elasticity of demand. Now, also, the measurement can be given as the coefficient of elasticity of demand of two commodity X and Y. So it can be percentage change in quantity demanded of commodity X over percentage change in the price of commodity Y. These are two commodities. The quantity will be given for that and the price will be given for that. So we'll just find the change and their respective angles. So for percentage change in quantity demanded of commodity X, it will be the new quantity minus the old quantity divided by the old quantity times 100 over 1. Then percentage change in the price of Y will be the new price minus the old price of Y, is of commodity X, divided by the price of commodity Y times 100 over 1. So when you do this and substitute, you have your answer. Now, let's see an example. Suppose we said answer the question below. Now, we have close-up and McLean. These are items that are close substitute. So this is the old price, this is the new price, this is the old quantity, this is the new quantity. Okay? So they said calculate the cross elasticity of demand. So let's solve that using this. So we have solution. Now, we have elasticity of McLean and close-up. Okay? It's equal to percentage change in quantity demanded of McLean over percentage change in price of close-up. Okay? So we're going to get percentage change in quantity demanded for McLean equals the new quantity minus the old quantity over the old quantity times 100 over 1. And what's the new quantity? Look at the new. 800 minus 200 over the old is 200 times 100 over 1. So 800 minus 200 will give us 600 over 200 times 100 over 1. So this will give us 200 here, 100 here, 1 is 200. So basically this will give us 300%. Okay, 300%. Now go to the other one. Let me check the question. If that question is correct. Sorry. So this question, this is supposed to be 300. So this is supposed to be 300. So 300 minus 200 will give us 100. Okay. So we have 100 here, 1. So we can have 50%. 50%. Okay. So percentage change in the price of commodity Y will be the new price minus the old price over the old price times 100 over 1. So what's the new price? 80 minus the old is 50 over 50 times 100 over 1. So this is giving us 80 minus 50 is 30 over 50 times 100 over 1. So 50 here is 150 and 100 is 2. 2 times 30, this will give us 60%. So the cross elasticity of Maclean and close-up will give us as 50% over 60%. So 5 divided by 6, using my calculator, I have 0.83 as my elasticity. Okay, so that's the cross price elasticity. So they said, is the demand elastic or inelastic? State your answer. The demand from here now is what? Inelastic. Why? Because the elasticity is less than what? 1. You don't approximate, please. Okay, so that is elasticity. So that's it so far. We have seen different aspects of elasticity. We have seen the price, the income, the cross elasticity. We saw the types of price elasticity. We saw the types of income elasticity. We saw their graphical representation. We saw their measurement, and we solved questions. Okay, please ensure you like, comment. Let me know which other topic you want or other questions. Okay, once you comment, please comment your school and where you're watching from. Let me know where our video has gotten to. Okay, please ensure you like and you comment. It will help this video. Okay, and ensure you subscribe. Thank you very much.